We called it the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveler had an enemy, a darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything. But it was also a beginning.
That introduction, that opening video with that iconic piece of music will never get old for me. Good day, fellow Titans, Hunters, and Warlocks. My name is Telric, and welcome to the 10-year anniversary of my favorite game, Destiny. It really is hard to believe that 10 years ago today, we were jumping into the world of Destiny for the first time. So much has changed and happened since then. It's a little mind-boggling. Really, for a game to survive a decade and be loved and played for that length of time, it has to be special. It has to connect with people on a level where the fans love it. And Destiny is one of those rare games that has managed to evoke those feelings in people, and especially me. It is one of those very rare, very exceptional and special games. Looking back through the years at Destiny, I don't really know of any other game that hits every box for me in terms of what it presents. But in honor of this game's 10-year anniversary, let's go through my list of 7 things that I think Destiny did better than any other game. Number 1 is the lore. Probably my favorite thing about Destiny is the lore, the hidden story. The story that we experience as players and guardians that is detailed in the story missions is interesting, but probably not the best fleshed out story, even though I personally greatly enjoyed it. But what I enjoyed even more than that story was what was teased at, what was hidden, what you had to explore the world of Destiny to find and to fill in the blanks. And then there was the hidden ghosts that you could find in all of the different worlds and maps, etc., that helped you to fill in those gaps. In all, Destiny had a total of 137 ghosts scattered throughout the game. And finding those ghosts would add to your grimoire, which was the backstory, the lore of the game. It would fill you in on this universe, this Destiny universe that we got to experience. And the more you played and the more you found, the more gaps were filled in. But even then, you didn't have all of those gaps answered or filled in. You still had things that were a mystery, things that you didn't know, and you were trying to figure out what was going on in the world of Destiny, and I loved that. You're always searching for more of the mystery, more of the answers. And then when you did find those answers, there was a certain satisfaction of having explored the depths of the game to expand your knowledge just a little further. Another area besides the grimoire that expands upon the lore is the items in the game, such as armor and weapons and artifacts. And if you took a moment and you read the descriptions for those things, there were clues and quotes from ancient characters or even characters that you interacted with that add to the lore. There was quite a bit of data that was just added to your knowledge base by perusing the items that you owned in the game. And then there was also the NPCs in the game. You go find an NPC, sit down, listen to them talk for a while. You just might be surprised by what they tell you. All in all, my favorite part of this game is how deep the hidden story was. The world of Destiny was dark, mysterious, unknown, and I loved it. Number 2, raids. We really can't have a discussion about Destiny without talking about one of its finest and most distinct features, and that is its 4 raids. From the very first raid in Vault of Glass, we as Destiny players were getting to participate in something special. Before the release of Destiny, gamers on Xbox and PlayStation consoles hadn't gotten an experience quite like this one. And frankly, it was amazing. And I have always loved the difficulty level of raids. It required teamwork and grit and perseverance. And when you did complete a raid, especially if you did it without any spoilers or guides, it was one of the most satisfying experiences in all of gaming. Of the 4 raids, Vault of Glass, Crota's End, King's Fall, and Wrath of the Machine, I would have to say my favorite was Wrath of the Machine. It was the last time my clan did a blind raid attempt. We did it successfully, and to this day, it is still the most fun raid experience I've ever had. Even now in 2024, I would be more than willing to run Wrath several more times. It's a great experience. And the 4 Destiny raids were definitely some of the best gaming Destiny had to offer. And not just the experience itself, but also the rewards that came with it. The armor and the weapons and the challenges and the prestige that came if you got a certain shader or emblem. Raids were a highlight of Destiny. And they are one of the best parts of this game. Number 3, I would say, would be the competition. And I know that this game is no longer truly competitive anymore. It's difficult to get matches. It's difficult to get a game without getting stomped by somebody who just enjoys using the OP meta way too much. But you can still get some fun games these days by playing Zone Control when it's available. But otherwise, it's hard to play Destiny Crucible now in 2024. But back in the day, the competitive scene for Destiny was fantastic. I personally spent hours upon hours battling it out with other players in the Crucible and making big plays in Clash and Control, Zone Control, and Rift. My goodness, I loved Rift. It was the most fun mode, personal opinion. I love Rift to no end. That game was so much fun. Other game modes that you could play were Salvage, Skirmish, Doubles, and Rumble. And there was so much variety in the Crucible, and you even ended up having stuff like the Mayhem Clash or Mayhem Rumble. The supers were just crazy. I love the variety, and I love the competitiveness of the Crucible. And it was probably the one thing that I always come back to day after day after day was to play Crucible. And then, on top of all that, there was the ultimate competition, Trials of Osiris. 3 versus 3, battling for the ultimate glory of visiting the lighthouse after a flawless run. The sweaty palms, heart-racing, nail-biting plays and finishes and comebacks. Trials was the ultimate competitive scene of glorious victory or heart-crushing defeat. It was amazing. And all these years later, I haven't found another game that hints or comes close to that competitive tone the way Destiny did. It will forever be one of the best competitive games I have ever played, and I truly miss a well-balanced and competitive Crucible. It was a highlight of this old game, and I loved it. Number 4 is the art design. Another area where Destiny excels is in its art design. From the moment you turn on the game, you see the styling and the aesthetic quality that has been put into this game. And it is rivaled by very few, in my opinion. The directory map. You sit there and you look at this directory map and the artwork that's been put into it, and all it does is show you places you can go, but each one has its own tangible design that kind of beckons to you. You want to go explore this world. And then every world you set foot on, you're greeted with amazing skyboxes and environments that whisper of hidden mysteries or ancient ruins just over the horizon. Even sitting in orbit, you're greeted with these wonderful sceneries of your ship and the surface of the world below you. There's also the character designs, the armor for your characters, your ships, your weapons, even your ghost and how your ghost is created and how he looks. The designs of the enemies you fight, from Fallen to Hive to Cabal to Vex, they're all well done and evocative to the eye, conveying danger as they approach you on a mission. How about the NPCs in the game? Many of them are unique and crafted well enough that you want to know even their backstory in the world. Every corner you turn in Destiny, there is a wealth of art design that, personally, I don't get tired of. I think Destiny is truly a beautiful game. It has an artistry that is rare to find, especially by today's standards. For being a 10-year-old game, it's probably one of the best looking games that I've ever gotten to experience, and I don't know of a modern game that has focused as much on its art design as Destiny has, and truly, it's a beautiful game. Number 5 is the sound. This may seem strange to some, but I love the sound design for Destiny. Everywhere you go, the different worlds and environments, they each have their own distinct sound that clues you into the environment, whether it's the call of the fallen across the steps of the Cosmodrome, or you're wandering through the Dreadnought and you hear the rumble of the ship under your feet. Places like the Tower, where you hear the Vanguard over the loudspeaker and ships flying by as they dock into the hangar. One of my favorite memories of this game is I was simply walking down a hallway in the ruins of the Cosmodrome, and as I walked by this lamp that was set into the side of the wall, I stopped because I could hear it buzzing. And you'd walk back and forth, and every time you get close to this lamp that was set into the wall, you could hear it buzz. And that still made it, even to this day, has made a distinct impression on me of how the smallest details had a corresponding sound to go with it. Weapons and abilities all have a distinct sound as well. Anytime you hear a Guardian use their super, you know exactly what it is without even seeing it. Hey, remember all those times? Hammer, golden gun. The moment you hear one of these things, your brain immediately goes, I know what that is, without even having to look at it. Weapons sounds are great. From the chatter of an auto rifle to the heavy thunk of a sniper rifle, all the way to the kaboom of a rocket launcher. Enemy design also has a unique sound in Destiny. Each and every opponent a Guardian faces has a distinct sound. You hear a fallen captain roar, or a wizard scream, or a minotaur charging at you. You immediately recognize it by the sound that it's emitting that's been created for it. I love the sound design for this game. Every time I've logged into this universe, the sound design has immersed me fully, and it is truly a wonderful part of this old game. Number 6, music. Oh, I never get tired of the music for this game. We as gamers or even fans of orchestral music, soundtrack music, movie music, or classical music should be eternally grateful for the hard work of people such as C. Paul Johnson, Michael Salvatore, Martin O'Donnell, Paul McCartney, and people like Sky Luan and Rotem Molov. These men are responsible for the music that we got to experience from the launch of Destiny all the way through the Rise of Iron. Some amazing themes and pieces of music that shape Destiny in a dynamic element. They're also the collaborators on a suite of music known as the Music of the Spheres. This suite of music was a giant collaboration for the game, and only small portions of it were actually used for the game, unfortunately. However, good news there was back in 2019, the full suite of music was released to the world. And there are some great pieces of music throughout the game, such as The Last Array, and Tranquility, and Sepix Prime, for the original launch of the game. And of the original pieces written for Destiny back in 2014, I would say probably my favorite is Untold Legends. This piece of music is a wonderful combination of strings, hopeful brass, some choir voices, and a snazzy percussion. Every part of this piece is just, in my mind, a summary of the Destiny experience. The hope and victory of heroes. It's a great piece of music. And then, when we had the release of The Taken King, we had another suite of music released. And we got music that was focused on the dark belly of the Dreadnoughts and the Taken and Hive, which would never have felt as breathtaking or immersive without the music that these men wrote for that DLC. The best piece, in my opinion, from that period was the music for the final raid encounter in King's Fall, entitled Last Stand. This piece of music is fantastic. Lots of cellos, tubas, a full choir, deep drums, trumpets, and some really interesting use of violins, all combined to keep a player immersed in the moment of fighting a hive god bent on your destruction. And if you play the encounter correctly, the tempo of the music matches the tempo of that battle. And then, in 2016, we had the release of Rise of Iron, and with it came some of the best Destiny music that I've ever heard, and some of my personal favorites. The music that was made for Rise of Iron, it just immerses you in the Plague Lands and the snowy mountain peaks of Saladin's Iron Temple, and fighting the formidable Siva foes throughout the Cosmic Realm. There is so much good music in the Rise of Iron DLC. And my favorite piece, by far, is Young Wolf, with its rousing drums and percussion, the choir, violins and cellos, and use of brass. Oh, I love this piece of music. Every time I turn it on, it makes my heart and my imagination soar. But lastly, we can't forget the piece of music that started it all. The one piece of music where you hear it, immediately you think Destiny. And that is The Traveler. That interesting combination of trombones, harps, violins, and then the drums as you see for the first time with the sound of the gong, the Traveler itself. And then you have this fantastic boys choir that joins in, followed by trumpets and harps, and this piece just soars to its conclusion. It's a defining piece of music. The music for Destiny is iconic. It is truly one of the best and most defining parts of this game. And even 10 years later, I still sit and enjoy listening to this music and its wonderful elements and themes. Number 7, memories. Today is not only the 10-year anniversary of Destiny, but it is also the 10-year anniversary of my Destiny clan, Valoryar. I want to give a big thank you to all of the guys in my clan, as the last 10 years of getting to know you, call you my friends, and just get to share in the joy of playing this game has made a big difference in my life. I am a bit of a recluse by nature, and this clan gave me a social group of friends I've never had before. And getting together on a semi-regular basis to play Crucible or do raids or just shoot the breeze while we did Nightfalls are some of my favorite memories in all of gaming. So thank you, Valoryar. You'll always have a very special place in my heart. And that's the last thing I want to highlight on this 10-year anniversary. The fantastic memories and friendships that this game has given me, and I would bet has given you. From raids to Crucible to just hanging out in the tower and messing around. This game has created some of the best times of friendship and memories. And for that alone, we should celebrate this old game. So to Destiny, happy birthday. Happy 10 years of memories and great times and friendships. So that's my list. The 7 things I think Destiny did better than any other game, and I still enjoy to this day. But before I sign off, I have one more thing I want to talk to you all about. I wanted to give you an update on a project I've been working on for over 5 years now, and that is the Destiny novel that I've been writing. For my friends who know I've been working on this project, I am very sorry it has taken me so long to finish. I truly am. My personal life and career have gotten in the way a bit over the last couple of years, and it has really slowed down my progress. In addition, the book has changed directions a few times in my attempts to make the story more interesting. If you by chance don't know what I'm talking about, it's a book I've been writing entitled The Chosen Dead, and it's a novel centered on my Titan character I created in Destiny, and also the members of my Valoryar clan as we battle a mysterious enemy during the events that occur in Destiny, the game. When I first started writing the book, it was a way of making a fun idea come to life, but over time, as the months and years have gone by, the project has taken on a new meaning for me. My goals with this novel have actually grown quite a bit. Now it's very personal for me, as I want to create a gripping science fiction story within the realm of Destiny that not only honors and commemorates the game and the Valoryar clan, but is also a book anyone could enjoy, even if they've never played the video game in their own life. And my other reason for writing this book is inspired by one of my favorite authors, J.R.R. Tolkien. Tolkien's book, The Hobbit, which I'm pretty sure most people are aware of or familiar with, was originally a bedtime story that Tolkien told his son before his son urged him to put it down on paper. And we now have the famous novel loved by many. I have a young son myself now, and I wanted to create a story that he could pick up at any age and be inspired by it. And it have role models and heroes that could shape him as he grows. And I wanted the content to also be good and wholesome for him to consume. All this to say, I'm proud to announce the book has finally reached the 3/4 finished stage. I have 75% of the book done. The end is in sight. I only have 10, maybe 12 chapters to finish writing, and once I get those chapters done, and I have my editor, aka my wife, read it over, my plan is to get this novel published and available for anyone who wants to purchase it. So here we are, 10 years later. 10 years of what is still my favorite game of all time. I don't think any game will ever topple Destiny for that title. The stories, the lore, the laughter, the moments of excitement and achievement, the wonderful memories, the friendships. Destiny was and still continues to be the best game I've ever played. Cheers, my fellow Guardians. May the light of the traveler ever illuminate your way.